Call of Duty Vanguard released on November 5th and is the newest COD yearly release, developed by Sledgehammer, whose last game was Call of Duty World War II, and just like World War II, Vanguard also has the World War II setting. Now, the hype for Vanguard was very low, at least when compared to the usual hype around the newest Call of Duty game. Part of that is because people are really starting to get burnt out of Call of Duty and are sick of having a new game every year, and the other reason is because Battlefield and Halo are returning this year after being dormant for multiple years, so those games have much more hype than Vanguard. Now, Vanguard doesn't really do a whole lot of new things, but it has some really nice new additions and changes while using that great feeling engine from Modern Warfare. A lot of people have labeled Vanguard as Modern Warfare but with a World War II skin, and that's not completely inaccurate. However, this game still plays out a lot differently than Modern Warfare. But I think the general opinion of Vanguard has gradually become quite positive, though it's not anything extremely innovative for the series. So if you're burnt out and sick of COD, Vanguard certainly isn't going to refresh you. I want to start by talking about the campaign. The campaigns in COD are usually quite enjoyable. I had been getting a bit tired of them though, which is why I was really wanting something new and fresh in the campaign, which is also why I really liked Cold War's campaign. It had choices, which was a pretty large part of it, and it made it feel less linear, which was really refreshing. Unfortunately, Vanguard's campaign doesn't have the choices, but it's still a really good campaign. It starts off with this thrilling introduction. You're on a moving train in Germany, jumping from cart to cart, shooting Nazis, and there's just tons of action. You're then captured, and the characters spend almost the entire campaign in a prison cell in Berlin. There is no real main character to the campaign. You alternate playing as each member of your little squad, and each character has their own diverse and unique personalities. And while in present time, almost the entire campaign is spent in a prison cell, and then you go through flashbacks with each character as the squad leader Arthur narrates their backstories. All the characters have their own origin story and defining moments during World War II, and each are from different countries fighting at different times and places during the war. It's a clever way to have you play each big and iconic battle from World War II, and I was all for it. I thought having the whole campaign basically consists of flashbacks would be really lame, but I ended up really enjoying it, and it gave me more insight into each character. My personal favorite missions were the ones with Lady Nightingale, easily the best designed missions of the campaign, I think. There's sniping sections, stealth sections where you need to crouch and move through tight spaces and take out a large group of enemies combing the area for you. And there's even a boss fight where you have to hide and creep up on this guy who's searching for you. Not to mention the setting and aesthetic with all the snow is just beautiful. Another memorable mission for me was where you get to play as Wade in the air and bomb a large ship. Such an immersive and chaotic mission, and some of these missions for me were very memorable. It's about a 5-hour campaign, which is pretty standard for Call of Duty, but it's a lot of fun. If you're one of those people who play Call of Duty only for the campaign, this is definitely one worth trying out. However, definitely wait for a sale or something, because full price for a 5-hour campaign is just not worth it. The multiplayer, while still your pretty usual COD experience with all the game modes and the gunsmith, perks, operators, etc., had a lot of really great changes. The combat pacing has to be the best new addition to the multiplayer, and one of the best changes I think Call of Duty has made in a while. There's 3 different pacings: tactical, assault, and blitz. Tactical being that slower pace with less players for those who like to take the game at a bit of a slower approach. Assault kind of being that middle ground, and blitz being that high action, fast-paced setting with lots of players that had to be my personal favorite. I'd say generally the game is fast-paced and chaotic, even on tactical pacing, but things can get really crazy on blitz, and I love it. I love the system as a whole though, and it gives the player even more customization around their COD experience and allows them to pick the pace that best suits their playstyle and how they like to play the game. Not everyone likes that slow, strategic, tactical pace, and not everybody likes that really fast-paced blitz, so it's great for having an option for everybody. Like I said though, the game does feel a lot faster paced generally when compared to the recent games like Cold War and Modern Warfare, which I think is a good thing. If you didn't like all the camping from the previous games, specifically Modern Warfare, then you'll really like Vanguard. The general flow and pace of the game is much better. Obviously, there's always going to be camping in these games, that's just unavoidable, but it's a lot less encouraged in Vanguard. Everyone is noticeably more aggressive in this game, and that's because of how the map and flow of the game was set up. It's all designed designed in a way to get you into a firefight as soon as possible, and the spawns are a big part of that. You don't have to run around the map for minutes before finding someone anymore. You're likely to find an enemy and get into a gunfight within seconds of spawning, especially on Blitz. And while I still like tactical and strategic play in first-person shooters, for a more arcadey shooter like COD, I prefer to get as much action as possible. It also just increases how many kills a game on average you get. I was easily dropping 50 kill games on Vanguard playing Blitz, and even when I had bad games, I was still dropping a lot of kills naturally. I also think the changes to the minimap and some of the perks also encourage you to be more aggressive. For example, Ghost works how it originally did in the older CODs, where it only hides you on the minimap while you're moving. So if you're camping, you'll still show up on the minimap, and Radar is also now a perk that allows you to see people on the minimap who are shooting unsuppressed weapons. The Gunsmith in Vanguard also works quite differently, the main thing being you can now equip 10 attachments, which I was really skeptical about. I always liked being limited to your attachments because it forced you to be smart around how you build your weapons and be more selective with your attachments. However, the 10 attachment system actually works quite well. The only thing that bothers me about it are the very confusing new stats. There's stats like recoil control, accuracy, initial recoil control, recoil recovery, and nobody really knows right now what exactly these stats do. I'm sure someone will test it out and be able to figure it out, but I wish these stats were a lot more clear with what they actually do. In terms of new multiplayer game modes though, there's Champion Hill, which is like this arena style elimination tournament with some slight inspiration from CSGO with the money and ability to buy different weapons and armor in between rounds. Each team gets a set amount of lives and you're randomly pinned against each other one at a time until there's one team left standing. There's duos and trios for this mode, and I found the mode really fun. Granted, a lot of my teammates left and the game left me to fend for myself against full duos and trios a lot, but generally I think the mode is fun and with a few tweaks could be great. Oh, and did I mention that Vanguard already has 16 maps at launch? That on its own is crazy, and the maps are really well designed too. Again, creating that fast-paced flow in the games. There's also a new ending / MVP screen where your team gets to vote on who the MVP of the team was, and you get some extra XP for voting and if you win. It's a cool system. I think it's a little too long and delays the end of the game a bit, but it's a rewarding feeling to have your greatness be recognized by your teammates. Vanguard's gunplay feels fantastic. The weapons feel incredible. The recoil, hit markers, and sound effects whenever you get a kill feel great. All the guns have that punch and weight to them, if you know what I mean, and they are very fun to use. This game does have a very fast time to kill, especially with the insane headshot multiplier that absolutely melts people. I like the fast time to kill, but sometimes I even thought the headshot multiplier was a little ridiculous because there were multiple times where I definitely felt like I landed more shots and won the gunfight, but because of a lucky headshot, I was one or two shotted and killed. The most popular weapons so far are definitely the STG and MP40. I mean, pretty much everyone is running them, and you get them right from the start. However, I also really like the Tommy gun and the bar, but since the time to kill in this game is so fast and chaotic, there's a lot of good choices. I have heard that there may be some overpowered marksman rifles, but I didn't personally experience that. Obviously, there's going to be some changes, and not everything is perfectly balanced, but there's nothing game-breaking, so I'll consider that a win. Sniping is at quite a disadvantage in this game, however. The snipers, other than the Kar 98, felt a bit inconsistent and slow to me, and since this game's pace is so fast, it's really challenging to snipe. It's just one of those games where sniping isn't the best option, so that may disappoint some people. And of course, this game does have that incredible movement system from Modern Warfare, with the tactical sprinting and sliding and all that. The general feel of this game is just so smooth, and paired with a fast pace, it really is like the best of both worlds in that regard. The zombies in Vanguard were probably the most disappointing part of this game for me personally. The zombies weren't actually developed by Sledgehammer, they were made by Treyarch, and the zombies just feel really boring. They tried to do a mix of the traditional round-based survival and Outbreak, where you've got a sort of open world with a bunch of portals to jump through and complete side objectives. And what's not a terrible idea, it's just so repetitive. The zombies get so boring so quickly, and there isn't a ton of Easter eggs and story to it that I know a lot of hardcore zombie fans love to find. I suppose the aesthetic of it all is cool, however I'm not an expert or huge fan of zombies, but even I can tell this is lacking, even if we're just comparing it to Cold War zombies. Hopefully it will get better with new updates and content. Vanguard is probably the best looking Call of Duty game yet, graphically speaking. I mean, I can't tell a huge difference from Modern Warfare, but it definitely looks better than Cold War. The game also runs pretty well on PC. I had some frame drops here and there, but overall it had good performance. Call of Duty Vanguard certainly isn't the fresh and new Call of Duty experience that a lot of people may be hoping for, but it made a lot of nice changes in the multiplayer and design of the game. There's a ton of maps and game modes already available, and the combat pacing was definitely a great new addition. The campaign is also very fun and quite memorable, even though it doesn't have all the different choices you can make in Cold Wars. However, the zombies in Vanguard are sorely lacking. All in all, I really enjoyed Vanguard, and I think of all the studios, Sledgehammer is definitely the best at listening to what the fans in the community want, if you just look at what they did with COD World War II, so I'm quite optimistic about the future of Vanguard. So, should you buy Call of Duty Vanguard? If you have never played a COD game before and have been wanting to get into the series and try a game, then I definitely recommend Vanguard. I also recommend it to people who have always really enjoyed Call of Duty games. However, if you're one of the people who are sick of COD and want something new, like I know a lot of people are, then I wouldn't recommend Vanguard to you personally, because it's not that completely new experience you may be looking for. I'm curious to see where this series goes in the future and if they're going to continue the yearly releases. The rumored next game for the series is going to be a sequel to Modern Warfare 2019, or Modern Warfare 2 if you would, so I'm curious how they will do that. Anyways though, if you guys enjoyed this review or found it helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like on the video and consider subscribing to the channel if you're new. I make videos like this for all kinds of games, including Cold War, Modern Warfare, and World War II, so consider checking those videos out. I'll leave the links in the description. I also may make a video on Vanguard versus Cold War for which game is better, so let me know if that's something you'd be interested in the comments. And other than that, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day, everybody.